Hey Pokemon Masters, Bird Keeper Toby here, and today we're going to be talking about the birds. The birds and the Beedrills.
The birds and the Beedrills. Really, Toby?
Callum, I just want to talk about what is a very sensitive subject. Today we're talking about how Ditto breeds.
I think they know how Pokemon breed. I mean, when a mommy and a daddy Pokemon love each other very, very much, they go to the daycare.
Callum, no. Bad hoodlum Scrafty. Go read the PG version of the script, then you can join us again. Besides, you're wrong. While that might be how most Pokemon conventionally breed, it's not the case for Ditto. Ditto is known as the transformed Pokemon. It's able to replicate the cells of an enemy Pokemon and learn that Pokemon's moves. The only thing that doesn't really change is the health and PP of a move, which is always set to 5. It's also rumoured that Ditto could be a failed experiment, an attempt at cloning Mew into Mewtwo, although this can not really be confirmed as it's just another Pokemon theory. Another amazing thing about Ditto is it can produce an egg with almost any Pokemon in daycare, including genderless Pokemon.
So where's the mystery? When in the daycare with a lady Pokemon, it grows a set of Pokeballs and...
Callum, if you keep doing this, you can't be part of the video. It's a PG video, and besides, you've read the script, you know what's up with Ditto. Look, as long as you're good and keep it family friendly, why don't you take over the next part?
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, the obvious contradiction, which is staring us all right in the face, is that Ditto copies the cells of the opposing Pokemon. The Stadium Pokedex entry even reads that it is an exact copy. This includes gender, which means when a female Scrafty is in the daycare, once copied, would just become another female Scrafty. And of course, this nowhere near accounts how Ditto can breed with another Pokemon that's genderless.
Well, there are a few things in our worlds that could be a good comparison. Number one being cloning. We've already talked about Ditto's potential link to cloning, but in our world, cloning is not as simple as standing in a machine and an exact duplicate coming out the other end. In fact, what you have to do is take a mature somatic cell out of a creature and then implant it into an embryo. So far, we've done this with cats, dogs, sheep, deer, a whole range of different creatures. And with Ditto, with its ability to replicate cells, it could do the same thing. So it could copy a mature somatic cell and then reproduce with itself.
Parthenogenesis is a form of asexual reproduction, which, put very simply, happens when a creature copies its own DNA and creates an egg without fertilization. This process is called apomixis, and it happens in lizards, insects, and even sharks. So our theory here is that Ditto copies a cell or collection of cells, which creates a new egg from there, which this is a mixture of both cloning and parthenogenesis.
What this means though is we now have an explanation for how a Pokemon that would copy into the same gender as a Pokemon, or being with genderless Pokemon, could still mate with them. In fact, it even goes as far to explain all the Pokemon that Ditto can't breed with. So baby Pokemon, for example, what you need to clone is a mature somatic cell, which you can't get in a baby creature. As for legendaries, it's possible that their cell structures are simply too complex, which you can see in the Pokemon Manaphy.
The only legendary Pokemon Ditto can breed with is Manaphy, definitely one of the less complex legendary Pokemon, and it can't even get that quite right. This could very well be what Phione is, Ditto's best attempt at clone breeding a Manaphy. And finally, if you're gonna ask us about Nidorina and Nidoqueen, just don't. For some bizarre reason, these Pokemon just can't breed at all with anything. Nidoking can, but not with Nidoqueen. Possible, like legendaries, they have complex cell structures, or simply that they're the exception to the rule. Who knows?
So this gives us an awesome explanation as to how Ditto can breed with Pokemon of the same gender, or genderless Pokemon. It's not mating with them in the conventional sense, it's just taking their cells and then undergoing parthenogenesis. So there you have it, Ditto is not the frisky Pokemon you thought it was.
Toby!
What? I mean as in the ability, Frisk. Pokemon with Frisk.
Yeah, right. Ditto can transform into many different Pokemon, but over on my channel, we look at forms that it can't replicate because they don't exist anymore. For example, did you know that Lapras used to have fiercely sharp teeth, or Smeargle used to be red?
Let's fly on over to your channel and you can join us. So hi.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Bird Keeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master.